man. I'm trying to see why there was nothing happening on YouTube. It's working fine a little while ago. Come on, YouTube. OBS, what are you doing to me? Come on.
Says you're live.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, let me pull it up on my phone real quick and see if we've got a nice, strong proctologist recommended stream. Yeah, right. So you suck.
We are live. Well, it's coming across.
Right, I wish that I had never heard my own voice like that.
Well, guess what? It's now.
There we are. Yeah, we're going. I don't know what the hell the deal with that was. That was weird.
Mississippi internet, they got a filter out ever since they had to, put that filter about porn.
Yeah, right.
That wasn't us. That was Utah.
Soon to be you guys.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, didn't they do something where you have to like show your license or something before you can watch porn
exactly.
in Utah?
By the way, for those who are just tuning in, the control room's having an issue. We didn't know we were live. We are live. Why am I taking over? I have no idea. Let me let these two guys do something about it.
Well, here we go. We're about to start the show, and as usual, you probably won't hear the theme song because for some reason my recording software will not let Zoom hear it. So it's going to be really weird for about 20 seconds. And then we'll go.
It's going to be really weird for about an hour, but
yeah, that too. But anyway, shut up, Jacob. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. That music can only mean one thing. It is time for the OpenMicersPodcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig, and this is a very special episode of the OpenMicersPodcast, you guys, because we have a returning guest 3 years in the making. He was on the 6th episode, single digits of OpenMicers. He was the first guest of any notoriety that we've ever had on, and we shot for the fucking stars, and we somehow got him to come on our podcast. And now 3 years later, hold on, guys. Hold on. 3 years later, he's back again. He's back again, gracing us with his presence. He's a true comedy icon that you know from the Clerks franchise, from the entire View Askew universe. He is the one and only Dante from Clerks, Dracula from Monsters Anonymous, and the host of the O'Halloran podcast. It's Mr. BrianCOhalloran. How are you doing, sir?
Woo-hoo!
Wow, Jacob. I've heard of standing ovations when someone comes out. I've never heard of a standing introduction. Very, very interesting.
Especially, you get all of my
especially when you're right in a tiny little square in front of your computer. So
he has to show how yoked he is. He's so yoked.
Looks like you've been doing core.
Yeah, dude, real yoked, real big.
There you go.
I've been gaining a lot of mass lately.
It's funny, as a child, I went to a lot of mass. It's an Irish Catholic joke.
The first thing I want to bring up is I want to apologize to you, Brian, because for Pensacon this year, I got called out pretty hard because I was only there for the day. And I had panels to do, and I didn't get to go down to the celebrity rooms, and I didn't get to see you that day. And usually we meet up, we hang out, we do some stuff, but I'm so sorry that I didn't get to see you at Pensacon this year.
You definitely missed. The room was full of us. A bunch of us from the View Askew universe. We had Jeff, we had P, we had so many people there. Marilyn Gigliotti, Scott Schaffo. First show ever for Trevor, for Austin. Austin and Trevor played Blockchain and Elias from Clerks 3. So it was a good solid. We had Tom Arnold in our room at one point too. So It was an interesting mix.
And see,
We missed you as well, but it was good to be back on the Gulf Coast.
And the last time I saw you guys together was in New Orleans when you guys were filming for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Reboot.
Reboot. Yeah.
And I had taken a picture with everybody, and I posted it, and Marilyn got on me. She was like, "You need to take that down right now. Nobody's supposed to know we're here." I'm like, "Ooh, no!" Yeah. And I was sitting on this awesome picture of me with like almost the entire cast of Clerks that I went to dinner with you guys. I'm like, I can't. Nobody can know. I can't post. Why have this? It's killing me.
I remember that too. She's like, "You can't post that. Why'd you put it up for?"
But then she gave me a kiss on the cheek later, and I was just like, Veronica kissed me. That's awesome.
Yeah. Number 4.
And Kevin Smith promptly handed you a breach of contract.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
you screwed us out of this, Jay.
So Jacob says that this time he's actually got some real questions for you because he wants to be a real interviewer these days.
Well, what episode are we on? What number are you guys up to?
154.
154.
Wow. And that's an hour.
I've had a lot of practice.
Yeah, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So Jacob, he's getting better. He's getting there.
I have roughly 20 minutes of interview time in the last 154 episodes.
Oh, you're the Jay of this Jay and Silent Bob or Kevin and Jay kind of relationship?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
Even when we have guests on that I don't know, much about some of the guests, I'll say to Jacob, like, "Hey, you're going to have to take the lead tonight because I really don't know much about this person." And he just leaves me hanging. Like, he just won't talk. I'm like, "What are you doing, man? You're killing me."
It's really funny to me, honestly.
Well, it's funny. This is episode 154. There's 168 hours in a week. So you guys are almost up to a week's worth of nonstop talking.
Yeah. And Jason in his personal life has reached that week a long time ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
that fell so flat.
Yeah, look, I'm trying, dude. To be fair, I mean, first of all, I make conversations real weird, real fast. And second of all, I took the lead on our guest last week, and I made him really mad with my line of questioning, just unintentionally, because I'm a silly boy and I ask silly questions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think you're going to get me upset, so you'll be fine.
See, that's what I like about you, Mr. BrianCOhalloran. You are also a silly boy. You have prescribed yourself to being a silly boy as a career.
You know what? That could be your new stage handle if you keep saying it. And please welcome to the stage. He's known as a silly boy, Mr. Jacob Craig, everybody.
I like it. I think you should keep that.
Yeah, it'll be the name of my first special when I get one in 75 years.
There you go.
Change your Twitter handle to Silly Boy.
Silly boy.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sure it's already taken.
People who are going to look into that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So come on, Jacob. You said you had questions. Let's hear them. Let's hear these questions.
I do, Jason. I was letting the conversation breathe for literally 1 second before I picked back up with my line of questioning. Mr. BrianCOhalloran, so you came on 3 years ago.
First off, Brian, just, hey, Brian, blah, 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 blah. We have that. We go back 100 and some odd shows. Come on. You can call me Brian.
I think Jacob's stuck.
Did I freeze?
You froze.
You did for a second.
I think the hamster stopped turning on the wheel for his internet.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yes, you're back. We hear you.
All right. Yes, you're correct. We do go back a whole 3 years, Mr. Brian. But anyways, three years ago when you came on our show, we didn't even know that Clerks 3 was a possibility, that it was a film that was happening. We asked you, "Hey, what do you know about Clerks 3?" And you let us in on the secret that you know absolutely nothing about Clerks 3 because it wasn't a movie at that time. So with that being said, and obviously Clerks 3 came out and was made in a huge blockbuster, what's up with Clerks 4?
Well, Clerks 4, from what I've heard, is Jeff will only come back for Clerks 4 if he buries a certain character in the pet cemetery. I don't want to spoil it for the few people who may not have seen it yet. So if he's allowed to have done that, then he'll come back. It'd be like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing.
See, I was thinking maybe Dante and Randall and Hell, like, and they go to Hell and they're stuck in the quick stop for all eternity.
Yeah, man, we can totally give Bill and Ted a run for their excellent adventures.
And we got Joey Image in the chat room said, "How come no one ever mentions vulgar in Brian's introductions?"
Thank you.
Yeah, Jacob, why didn't you bring up vulgar in the introductions?
I figured the interview was going to be vulgar enough as it is, fellas. I didn't want to preempt things too much. Brian has a better soundboard than you do.
Oh yeah, look, well, here, let me play this.
That's the soundboard. An actual physical bell. There you go.
It's an actual bell. You stole that from the quick stop.
Well, just wait until the kid I got from the high school band here locally to do the wop, 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 wop.
Oh, man.
Come on, funny. Jacob. You said you had questions. I'm letting you take the lead here. Take the lead.
Look. Oh, you want me to burn through all my questions up top?
Ooh.
Here we go.
I can just talk to Brian. Like, we could just have a conversation. Like, and we just talk about stuff. We could talk about Clerks 3. We could talk about Vulgar. We could talk about Monsters Anonymous. We have a rapport. Now, you're the one here that says that you're trying to get better at interviewing. So interview. I'm giving you the stage here to interview.
Okay, me and Brian can talk about things too. Okay? Doesn't have to just be all interview questions. We can build a rapport. Brian, how do you feel about gas station food?
Gas station food has to be last resort. Now, that depends. Gas stations are now building more and more these elaborate kind of full service food kind of stops, especially along interstates and stuff. So if you're going to something like a Sheetz or a Wawa or something like that, and they have people who are making fresh to order kind of food, then it's all right. But if you're thinking of just your typical gas station, get gas, get your lottery tickets, cigarettes kind of stop, I usually pass on the hot dogs that have been spinning for 4 months on the thing.
Thank you.
That ain't happening.
Okay, so and this is once again the misconception is I'm not going for the hot dogs so here in the South, which I don't know how many gas stations you've stopped at when you've been at conventions here or whatever. But a lot of times we have was just a whole like buffet style setup of where you can get just tubs of ribs and country fried steak and fried chicken just in the corner store gas station down the street. They have all this stuff. They have like a whole lunch service. Like that's the kind of gas station food I'm getting.
All right. Well, it all depends how it looks. I guess it's the type they pre-make it, put it in one of those paper clamshells and slide it down a little thing that sits under a hot lamp. Still, I ain't going to do that either.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite gas station here in Van Cleve, Mississippi, they actually sell gator balls there. They're like known for their gator balls.
And how are they?
They're very good. Tangy gator balls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we in the chat room.
Very good. If you've never had gator, it tastes like chicken.
Oh, the irony of Dante walking in to someone else's convenience store and talking about the food. So, was there any? Were there hot dog rollers in the actual Quick Stop? No hot dog rollers.
No. I would never trust the Quick Stop personnel actually handling open food. They do, have freezers and refrigerators that would have like single serve like burritos that you would microwave, or your traditional kind of small little TV dinners that you can microwave. But as for open container kind of foods like the pickled eggs in a jar, nah, they don't have any of that stuff. So, and to be honest with you, the safety of the community would be at stake. Just sometimes opening the door, knowing that every customer's touched that door, kind of freaks you out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, when we filmed the original Clerks, like technically the catering was what was in the store. So we did burn through a lot of boxes of, like, Kevin was a big fan of boxes of the cereal. Every once in a while, Jeff was about the microwave burritos. Same here. Or you'd get a cup of, a can of soup, pop it open, pour it into a coffee mug and put it in the microwave, kind of a thing. And otherwise, we'd also then, there used to be a deli next door that got their bread delivery at like 5 in the morning or so. And we're talking about the big old giant, like leaf paper bag size of nothing but, rolls and bagels and whatnot. And there was a couple of days during the shoot that we kind of swiped like 5 or 7 of those bagels, like still like, ooh, steaming hot kind of bagels and rolls. And one morning, one of the managers or owners came over to us going, "Hey, have you seen anybody stealing the bread? Like we've been missing." And we were like, "We've been in here filming. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it day? Oh wow, is it daylight already?" That kind of a thing.
So you guys were stealing food while making the movie.
Yeah, that business went out of business, unfortunately.
I wonder why.
Had they sold those 7 or 8 more rolls, they probably could have hung in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good method acting. I feel like that's what Dante would be doing at the Quick Stop.
Of course.
Little extra payment.
So when y'all did Clerks 3, that is in the original Quick Stop, right?
Yeah. That was one of the great benefits of this script. There was an earlier version of a Clerks 3 that Kevin wrote that was, for the most part, totally fictional. Like, the events in it never happened to him, was never something that happened to any of us, kind of a thing. And it was a very much darker script. I mean, there literally was, and he's talked about this in other interviews. There was a mass shooting that happens in the other, and he wrote that script shortly after the Dark Knight Aurora, Colorado shooting. Mm-hmm. And so me and Jeff definitely was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel at all kind of Clerk-esque kind." So that, and we didn't want to work with a certain producer at the time who had the rights to make Clerks 3. So when Kevin approached us with this script of Clerks 3, he had gone through his heart attack. He wrote things that were on his mind at the time and where he thought these characters would be. Knowing that we would, since we last worked with Rosario Dawson in 2005, 2006, we knew that in this day and age, we would not be able to secure her for 2 weeks solid, being that she's like a Jedi and shit. So he wrote a script that we could get what we need from her in about 2 days, which we did. We had it for like a day and a half. And then we went around that. And this was a story that Kevin could tell from an honest living through it kind of perspective.
Yeah.
And he always had this idea of, wouldn't it be funny if Dante and Randall made a movie about working in the convenience store? Our first attempt to try to tell that story, or that part of a story, was when we did the cartoon back in 2000 with ABC. 1 or 2 of the episodes was going to be just that. They're going to be making a big film in the Quick Stop. But we got canceled before we even got started back then. So that just lives in Kevin's library of ideas for many years, and this was the time to pull it out. And I thought it was a perfect coalescence of both A, the guys from Clerks make a movie, and B, sometimes life, that's what life is, a series of down endings. I mean, all Jedi had was Muppets. We kind of said it in the first film and gave you a warning that sometimes life isn't so great to everybody, and it was a way to tackle this issues. Now, there were people who come up to us at these conventions all the time going, "You son of a bitch, you made me cry," things like that. Or I watched this thing on the plane and I was bawling my eyes out. People thought I was breaking up with my wife, things like that.
And that's the thing is, and if you haven't seen Clerks 3 and we spoil it, I apologize, but it is a heavy movie. I mean, I grew up with Clerks is the movie that made me want to make movies, and then I grew up and made a movie with you, Dante. I mean, and it was a magical experience, and now I consider you a friend, and it's like, what world do I live in? And then I grew up with those characters. I've loved the View Askew universe, the all the movies, the Clerks cartoon, and then we become friends. We make a movie together, and I see Clerks 3, and it's the first time, like, and don't get me wrong, I've seen friends die on screen,
right.
Getting eaten by badly CGI'd sharks before, but I've never actually seen a friend pass away in a very visceral way, as was in Clerks 3, and it really affected me for days afterwards. Like, I was in the theater, I was genuinely worried about you, like as the character, as the person, and I wanted to cry because I wanted to call you right then and be like, "Are you okay?" It was just like my brain didn't know how to process that moment.
You're not the only one. There have been a lot of people who even come up to me at the cons knowing, hey, I'm an actor. I'm at this con. We're doing things like, meet and greets, and just start walking up and tears start welling in their eyes, going like, I'm so glad to see you. And oh my God, why did it have to happen this way, kind of a thing. And I always say this to people. Well, if you didn't cry, you didn't care. The fact that you cried or people got really upset about the whole thing, it's because you'd gone through this journey since 1994 with these characters. And a lot of people have watched these movies multiple times and have it as a regular rotation. I mean, we had people who are in the military service come and say to us like, oh my God, I have this as one of my regulars, a go-to when we're out in country and I've seen some really horrible shit, or we've gone through some shit while out on patrol or whatever. And we get back to base, or I get back to my rack on the boat or whatever. And they say like, and these movies really bring me back to, home, and get this kind of lightens up with the mood of what's going on. And I get it. And I'm like that too. And, and I've been saying this because the past couple of years, there's been quite a few of these kind of feelings in other movies, Tony Stark in the Marvel movies, or Han Solo in the recent episodes of Star Wars, or even Wolverine when that movie Logan came out. So if I could be put into that type of company and make people evoke that kind of emotion out of them, I think it took 30 years for me to get there, but at least I put in the work to get that out of people.
Well, seriously, like, you put in the performance of a lifetime in that movie. And I even texted you after the movie. I said, I think my exact text was, if you're not nominated for an Oscar, there's no justice in this world. And I know that that's a long shot because Oscars and Kevin Smith movies are like oil and water. But
not even that, just comedies. They don't respect comedies in general. So, yeah.
If at least a Golden Globe nomination or something. Like, why is that not happening? It's a travesty in this universe.
You know what? It's funny because just this past weekend was the MTV TV and Movie Awards. And I thought we should get some nomination for that, for Best Comedy Duo or something. Nope. Not at all. None of it. And I was just like, wow. Okay. I'm like, they had Elvis on there. I'm like, all right, Elvis, very strong thing. I got it. But do you think the generation that's watching MTV right now has any relationship with Elvis whatsoever?
They don't even know who Elvis
that kind
is.
Of thing, like, that's weird.
Because like that movie, seriously, I can count maybe 5 movies in my life that affect me to my core, like Clerks 3 did. And I think it's because I grew, like you said, I grew up with those characters. I've loved those characters. I know you as a person now, and it just something about your performance and just that movie really affected me, like to just so deeply. And I hate it that you're not nominated for something, for a Best Actor.
And I appreciate just this alone the accolades alone that way. That really means a lot to me, because these are really the people who we make these films for. When it comes to the academies and you know, and the TV associations and stuff like that, there's a machine that's involved in all. There's a lot of money spent on getting nominations and getting winners done, because after those things, it's big business for the producers of said project, B, the distributors of the project, and C, the talent who gets the awards. And so there's a lot of wooing, and wooing costs money. You know, you got to send out DVDs or CD, you know, screeners, or you're sending out, you know, thousands of mailers to all the people who are on the committees, who are eligible voters, things like that. Even me, I'm a Screen Actors Guild member, I get a ton of screeners when it comes up to the lead, like 2 months to the lead up of the SAG Awards. And it's that kind of thing. You can see there's a lot of money in campaigning to please, for your consideration, vote for our project or our actor in our project or what have you. Yeah. So if it is what it is, the work will live on forever. I will not, but I'm very happy that people have that feeling about the film, and for that, the fact that they come and tell me, like yourself, I'm honored. And you know what? I put in the work, because when I first read this script, I got emotional about it, because it was, you know, I've been carrying this character, so to speak, all these decades, and to see the opportunity to not get this character grow old, technically, was sad. But I knew at the same time, I'm going to really put in the work to respect the work that Kevin put into it, to respect the emotion he's trying to get out of it. So when you're talking about people who are who are coping with depression and loss and stagnation in their life, and then coupling that with perhaps losing their good friend, almost losing their friend to a heart attack, to then the stress of reliving a past that wasn't so amazing for him, or was hard for him because he's been going through this very depressive feeling. And so anxiety, I wanted to make sure that people could respect how anxiety can really hit people, how loss can really affects people, and people, you can walk by people thinking they're just perfectly fine, when deep down they're absolutely dying inside. And I just wanted it for that to resonate. And thankfully, I was, from what people have been telling me, I've been able to pull that across.
I've been getting a little ribbing in the chat room. Joey Image says, "How much faith can you put in a guy whose favorite movie is Halloween 3? Just kidding."
Oh, good point. Are you a fan of Halloween 3?
I can't remember the last time I saw that one. Which one was that again?
It's the one without Michael Myers.
Yeah, the one with the Halloween masks.
No, I know Halloween, but I've seen 1 and 2. What happens in 3?
So it's they have these masks that the kids put on, and what is it? It's like weird bugs and shit come out of them, and there's robots for some reason.
Yeah, if they see this certain commercial, their heads turn into bugs. I love that movie so much.
Yeah. To call it a Halloween movie, don't know. But like with the Mike Myers thing, I don't know. But it'll be interesting. I mean, when they brought her back for the last couple, I thought, you know, like the Rob Zombie version and the other one, I thought that was good. Those were good. But yeah, I don't remember 3 so much. I think I was kind of like, this is bizarre.
Yes. Come to the dark side, Brian.
So did you see Clerks 3, Jacob? Have you seen it yet? Did you get to watch it yet?
I have not. I first of all, my favorite meme of this episode is that every time you mention Clerks 3, Brian puts it up on his screen.
Mm-hmm. That's not me. He's got his control room. That ain't me.
Second of all, I just recently borrowed Jason's copy of the first Clerks, because I was born in 2000.
Yeah, been trying to school him on good movies.
Right. So, I mean, Clerks was before my time. He let me borrow the first Clerks film, and I absolutely loved it. I understand the whole hype behind it. I have not seen 3 yet because I haven't seen 2. I don't want to watch Clerks 3 without seeing Clerks 2.
Yeah,
but I loved the first Clerks.
It's definitely a must to see Clerks 2 so you can see the relationship, to know why is he so upset, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I've been slowly trying to get Jacob to watch good movies, and some of them don't hit well. You know, he didn't like Halloween 3, which that's okay. Movie. It's not for everyone, but I think
not for anyone.
Any aficionado of comedy, I mean, you have to watch the Clerks movie. So you've seen
100%.
You've seen one, so now I'm going to let you watch 2, and then I'll let you borrow 3.
All right, thank you, Daddy. I appreciate that.
Well, your dad didn't show you this stuff, and you know, I mean, I have to step in now and be like a surrogate father.
That's right. My father recently passed away, so now I'm looking for dads to adopt.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay, Brian. Will you be my daddy?
What? No.
Okay.
I'm barely an adult myself. So what's the ages that we're talking here?
23 and 65.
65.
I will be 46 in 2 weeks.
Okay. So yeah, technically he could be your dad. And B, 23. All right. You got a long way to go. I mean, I was 22. I was 23 when I made the first Clerks. So there you go.
Right.
So that was the year that great things started from that point on, so to speak.
So yeah, I could push Jacob. I could push Jacob to, you know, be able to do things and not waste 23 years of his life like I did. So, you know, I can ride those coattails.
True. To be fair, I am writing my first screenplay now. When you wrote your first screenplay when you were 40 or whatever.
Well, the first one that got made when I was almost 40.
True. I don't know if my screenplay is going to get made. Brian, do you mind if I run the just base premise of my screenplay by you to see if you think it's a good idea?
You know, this is on the internet that goes all over the world. So if you want to keep your idea to your special self so that no one goes out and wins an Oscar based on your idea, that would be my first advice to you as someone who's been in the industry. If you want to save your pitch meeting for after the call, I'll be more than happy to hear it.
Okay. Does it make any difference that I came up with the idea for it on the podcast? People already know about this.
Oh, well then fine. And what's the idea?
Okay, so I have an idea for a screenplay where it's the first ever annual Butler Convention. And there's a murder at the Butler Convention. And this veteran detective and this police, what do you call it? Jason, help me.
Veteran police, what?
Side squad?
No, a consultant, police consultant. All right, so a veteran, thank you, 20 points. So a veteran detective and a rookie police consultant have to go to the annual Butler Convention and find out and solve the murder, and it's called The Butler Did It. But they have to find out which butler.
Nice.
And it's the silliest fucking thing you'll ever read. I already have like 3 pages of it, and it's like absolute garbage.
It's like Glass Onion, but all butlers.
Right. So have you come up with all ridiculous butler typical names?
100% I have, yes.
Because one of them should be named Jeeves. And they're like, I don't know, ask Jeeves, just to get that inside 100%. Old school internet joke.
100%. I'm writing that down right now.
And then he'll be like, I don't know, why don't you ask Alta Vista?
Yeah, Chuck in the chat room says, an AI just finished your screenplay as you were talking.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, Carlos did put my idea into an AI screenplay writer, and it was not a bad script. It was kind of demoralizing.
And this is why the writers are striking, because they're all turning to the bullshit AI writing. I wouldn't be surprised if this interview script, now who am I kidding? Obviously, this has no intelligence in it at all. Artificial or real.
AI, you will learn nothing here.
No, dude. To get us back on track a little bit, Brian, something that I have learned about following you you guys are going to be having a View Askew cruise coming
That is
up.
right.
So tell me all about the cruise. Where are you cruising to? Where can people get tickets, and what events are happening on this cruise?
So when you say
Sure.
cruise, do you mean cruising or just
No. It's unlike what some people in a one boulevard town call what cruising. You get in your car, you go the 2 miles of Main Street, and cruise right back, hoping that the girl that you wanted is coming out of the the drugstore with a 12-pack of condoms for you to enjoy. No, this is an actual boat. I believe it's the Norwegian Cruise Line is going to be the one supplying it. We will sail from the lovely port of Miami to the Bahamas. It's a 3-day or 4-day cruise. If you go to cruiseaskew.com, all the information is going to be on there. You can book your rooms. I think last we checked, this is a 2,400 room ship, and we have booked, I think, 70% or 75% of it is already booked.
Wow.
We're going to have Kevin will be there, his wife Jennifer, Jason Muse, his wife, our producer Jordan, will be there, and I'm sure the kids will be there as well. We will also have myself, Jeff Anderson. We will also have Mark Bernardin. It's going to be a lot of podcasts on the show too. Mm-hmm. Kevin's going to do his +1 podcast with his wife. Andy McElfresh will be there to do the Edumacation show. I also believe Garmin will be on board so they can do Babylon. And then a bunch of the bands from the current soundtrack of Clerks 3. Will also be some of the entertainment. I know there's other things that they're planning too. I think there's like a karaoke thing that I might be hosting. I think there might be a bar crawl, which is weird on a ship, and a few others. So if you go to cruiseaskew.com, I believe the dates are February in the 20s. So hang on, let me just bring up my calendar here. It's in of 2024, so you have plenty of time. The deposits will end this June, like 20th or something, or 18th. But if you go to cruiseaskew.com, it is the February 23rd to the 25th or 26th. The exact dates are there. That's the best way to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun to be cruising on the high seas with the skipper and Gilligan, as I'm calling, that's what I'll be calling Kevin and Jason the entire time. I'm more of a ginger myself. I think Jeff is Marianne. So we'll go from there. But looking forward to it. I've never been on a cruise ever. I was on a long ferry once from Ireland to England, where halfway through the 2.5-hour sail, the English dock workers went on strike, and we were in the middle of the Irish Sea for 8 hours. So that was the closest to a cruise I've ever been on.
Wow.
Just an 8-hour tour.
Yeah.
I would love to go on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise either.
Yeah, no, me neither.
There you go. And this is being done by the Sixth Man Entertainment Group. They arrange tons of these kind of celebrity-based or entertainment-based kind of cruises, like the Broadway cruise, or they just announced the Impractical Jokers or doing a cruise. I think they're calling it the Ship-Faced with the Jokers cruise.
Love those guys.
Yeah, so there's tons of fun like that goes on. And who knows? We could all get diphtheria together.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm definitely going to check out some weird cruise buffet shrimp.
Right.
So there's going to be stand-up on that cruise as well. I know the two comedians that you guys are having on the cruise. I'm curious on those stand-up shows. Are there going to be any pop-ins from maybe our favorite View Askew personnel who are known to do stand-up from time to time?
I don't know. There might be a quick hot 15 sometime during those 3 days, depending on how the ship is. February is a weird time to sail in the Caribbean because there are chances of hurricanes. So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. I will take that as an absolute yes.
So, Brian, is there? I know there's been talks over the last few years about rumors of the Clerks animated series coming back in some form. Is there any nugget of truth that you could let us know about that?
Lay us a nugget, BrianCOhalloran.
No, absolutely. We as a collective, Kevin, Jay, Jeff, myself, and a few others, we definitely want to do it again. Before we actually went into production with Clerks 3, Kevin had his agent reach out to Hulu because they had made a deal with the guy from Rick and Morty. I forget his name. Jeez, he was just in the news with the whole like allegation.
Justin Roiland.
Oh yeah,
Justin Roiland. So he had a big deal with them to do Solar Opposites and a couple of other projects for them. And then, that was going well. The couple of first seasons of Solar Opposites went really well for Hulu. And then these allegations had come up, which he's been acquitted of. And so they didn't know what was going on. But before that had happened, Kevin's agent reached out to Hulu to say, hey, I see you're working with Justin Roiland. You're bringing this kind of adult, contemporary kind of cartoons to the network. You guys already own through Disney, because Disney's the parent company of Hulu. You already own the Clerks animated series property in the sense of that exact style of art. Certain characters are owned by the Disney Corporation, like Mr. Plug and Leonardo. All the pre-production work is done. Everybody from the essential cast is ready to go. I have at least 12 more scripts, 8 of which he had already finished that had been sitting since 2000. If we had been picked up then, we were ready to go for 6 more episodes real quick. Would you consider having us? And from the overview that I got from Kevin, pretty much they got back to his agent going like, nah, we good, type of thing. But that was before the whole Justin's issues with what had happened. So we don't know, and before we even made Clerks 3. So that being said, if he were to go back to them and go, hey, would you reconsider? With the success that has happened with Clerks 3, would you consider doing it again? So I hope he can reapproach them to that. That also being said, Kevin can do a Clerks animated series anytime he wants. He just can't do it in the exact style, artwork, and certain characters that the Disney version owns. But he could do Clerks animated series tomorrow and do like artwork like the guys from Rick and Morty, or artwork like the guy from The Critic, or the guys who did Dr. Katz, that kind of squiggly line stuff. So it's up to Kevin. We're ready to go. I think personally that should be the next and only thing you see a Clerks anything should be us in animated form, because this gorgeous face can't stay this way forever.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, to keep the Clerks property alive, I mean, animation would be the perfect thing to go back to, because not only that show was funny as hell, it deserved to at least see the light of day. And anybody that's ever seen that show, how good it is. And if you haven't, a new thing they're announcing soon. I'm going to give you a little inside information. Ooh, here we go.
Kevin is going to do a screening of all 6 episodes of the cartoon series at his movie theater in New Jersey that he recently bought with a few of his friends and a few partners. And we're going to do Q&As and commentary during these 6 episodes. That'll be Saturday night, July 1st. Tickets will be announced soon. It'll have myself, Jeff Anderson, Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes. Earlier that day, we will be at the comic book shop, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey, signing copies of the Dark Horse run of the Quick Stops comics, which are stories based around these characters in comic form, and we'll be signing all the issues that have been issued so far. So
that's fantastic.
Keep a lookout on it.
Do you have a date for that yet?
July 1st, Saturday, July 1st.
Oh, man, I wish
so
I could
the
make it up
daytime
for
will
that.
be the comic signing, and then the evening will be the screenings of all 6 episodes with the live commentary, and there'll be photo ops and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, that's so. I would if I was close, I would be there. I would be there in a
I hear you,
heartbeat.
man. Oh, I know you would. And you know, there's a lot of fans out there who live in that area. You get to the Atlantic Highlands, where it's the Smodcastle Cinemas. If you go on to social media and type those, Smodcastle Cinema, it'll bring you up to their pages, and then it'll show you the schedule, and you can get your tickets through them.
Joey Image said if Kevin Smith does an animated Clerks on his own without Disney, can he still call it that? And from what I understand, he does own Clerks.
Yes. Exactly. He can. Title. That's what I'm saying. He can do another Clerks animated series and still call it Clerks animated series. He just can't use the styles and certain characters that Disney owned.
And that's the thing with like Toon Boom and stuff now. It would be, and it's not like that cartoon was like, super action or anything. I mean, that would be an easy, not easy, but it'd be pretty quick.
It was one of the more expensive. It was one of the more expensive per episode animated shows at that time. We were not as simplistic as a South Park, for that matter, back then. But now the technology has done amazing. I mean, come on, we can have AI generated art and just do it that way.
Yeah, no kidding.
They'll be AI generating my voice, like I've been hearing. I've been seeing a lot of things on like Instagram and stuff where they're, showing like Joe Biden cursing people out, like stuff like that. Really funny stuff. So you never know what can happen in the next coming days, but that's something that both me and Jeff have eagerly said, let's fill in the gaps between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 of the Clerks stuff and do this. And the technology is cheap enough to get it done.
So Brian, me and Wally have for a while now had sequel scripts ready to go for Monsters Anonymous. And if nobody's seen that, you can go right here on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/@jfunktastic. I have a playlist with not only Monsters Anonymous, but we have some vignettes from the premiere. And a couple of years ago, me and Brian and Wally did a commentary track for Monsters Anonymous, which is on that feed. But if we were to do a Monsters Anonymous sequel, what part should we give Jacob?
What part should we give Jacob?
And I already have a part in mind for myself. Just
okay, so have a part for yourself. I think, with therapy, when there's different parts of therapy, it's not just talking out your feelings. Sometimes therapy involves some sort of physicality, like a yoga or something like that. I could see Jacob being some sort of like yogi Zen kind of master, asking us to do the most ridiculous types of like poses or breathing exercises. I think you could have a run of visual comic, sight gags just from that alone.
Well, if we're going to do a sight gag, I think Jacob should be the Blob.
The Blob. That's right. I mean, 100%, dude. I got to be the Blob.
There you go. Well, if we're going to put him into the group, yes, he could be a new member. Welcome the Blob. Right on, man.
I wouldn't even need any makeup.
Ooh, wow.
Just sit there naked.
Now it sounds, sounds like we're getting into real therapy here. Now, this self-loathing you have, Jacob, I know it assists you in your comedy world, but you really need to have someone talk to you.
So, Jacob,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm extremely muscular.
What would you want to do? If we're gonna have you Monsters Anonymous 2, what do you want to do?
No, I mean, I would love to be the Blob, or I mean, the Zen Yogi thing sounds really fun too. I don't know. I would really love to be a monster though, man. Some kind of monster, maybe the voice of a little bat henchman or some shit for the devil.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
We need
Phantom of the Opera.
There we go. Anything where I can use my actual face.
Yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, Phantom of the Opera, anything.
Horrifying. Absolutely. I mean, it's funny because it's just great that you've been using this, filter on your camera this entire interview with this like nerd character. I love it. It's hilarious. It's amazing what the filters are. And I get it. You have issues with your looks and stuff. But anyway, yeah, if you took the filter off, we saw you through you were. That'd be great. Absolutely great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's really hard to, because people have been asking me even recently. I get asked all the time when we're going to do more Monsters Anonymous stuff. And the problem is, well, not number one, the pandemic happened and that kind of screwed everything up. And number two, we got to find money, because that thing got made in spite of itself, honestly, because a lot of people worked for free on that thing. And what we should have paid for that was a lot more than what we did. So we're going to need money.
I wish I could relate to working on a film where you had to pay nothing, and then for years people clamored about, hey, when are you doing a sequel? Well, I have no idea what you're talking about when you talk about these things.
Well, if people knew what I paid you to be in Monsters Anonymous, they would punch me in the face. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, you're not the first person I've done favors for. Yeah.
Hey,
to be honest with you, though, look, a lot of the time,
the hotel room. I got you the hotel room.
That's true. You sometimes as an actor, you'll work on a project because you really want to see it done. Like there are times where I'll get a role from a thing where I'm just playing a role in a bigger movie, and I'm just in there and I'm out. But then there are sometimes I'll get a role and I'm like, oh man, I want to play with this character, and then to have the ability to play a Dracula in therapy, no less. And the dialogue was very funny. It's a very adorable yet funny story. And to be able to work with, Jeremy again and his brother, and surround with some really strong people. I was very, very happily surprised of what came out of Jeremy's class and what was surrounded. And then you and Wally really wrote some really funny stuff. So to go back and to visit that again, we were riding high after we were done, and after I finally saw the final cut of it, like, dude, this easily could be this could be episodic. Like you could put it on YouTube and do 6 episodes and see what happens. And this was around the time where, Critical Role and The Guild and all these kind of YouTube shows were being given offers to do stuff on other paid kind of, streaming channels. So, you still have that ability. I mean, we are not getting younger, but we're monsters. Of course, we're not undead, but we do age.
Cover some makeup and we'll be all right.
Or we get one of these cat filters. Anyway, it's that type of thing I think would be kind of fun. I mean, it would be funny to see what the monsters did during the pandemic, Zooming their therapy at one point. That's a very simple idea,
I would love to see Frank with a mask on because he doesn't breathe. Like, why is he wearing a mask?
Right. Well, how about the Mummy? He's nothing but a mask.
See, it writes itself. Like, this is, why are we not doing this right now?
It's writing itself right now. I mean, you could shoot it over a Zoom without having to fly anybody in for, $25 Amazon gift card, a Subway sandwich.
And for the most part, all the other cast members are not that far from that area still, correct?
No, everybody, yes, within a couple of states of one another.
Yeah, most of them are in New Orleans still, I think.
All right. Well, there's a lot of work out of New Orleans. Between New Orleans and Atlanta and the Carolinas and Georgia, of course, is doing really, really well for people who are moving. I've had friends move out of the LA area and New York to go down and work down in the Gulf Coast and the Georgia area.
Yeah, right. This is where all the work is coming, to Georgia, and that's where every audition I get lately is in Georgia. That's just where they're filming everything these days.
And with the writer strike happening now too, there's no telling where work's gonna go after this is. I mean,
settled. Last time it was like 120 something days the strike was. I don't see this one going as long for some reason, but they've cut the work down for the writers that are out there. And then, to have a living wage is all they ask for, because it all starts with a blank page, and you can get as many AI, chat, GPT kind of things you want. It's not going to be as funny as a real, someone had, it was great. I've seen some really great signs on the picket lines, and one sign was great. It was like chat GPS, GPT does not have childhood trauma. Where some of the greatest ideas come from is your childhood trauma. So that being said, I do really hope that there could be a meeting of the minds between the producers and the studios rather, and the writers.
Right.
But
we only have a couple of minutes here. Yeah, Jason, if you don't mind.
What do you got? What do you got, Jacob? Let's do these quick fire questions you got for Brian.
Well, I just have one big question to ask Mr. BrianCOhalloran, and he may not know this, but it's become sort of the pinnacle question of this podcast. It's joined the regular rotation. We ask all of our big guests this, and we've missed him because he missed this trend.
Brian,
Mr. BrianCOhalloran, also known as Dante from Clerks, when was the last time you shit your pants?
I will say it was about 4 months ago.
What?
Yes. Yes.
And it wasn't out of fear. It was some food that didn't sit well.
Was it from a gas station?
No, it wasn't from a. You would think, right? And that was the day I swore off. No, it was some food. I was home, so that was good. The good thing about it, I wasn't like out or on stage or at a convention. But I was home, and it's the old thing where you thought it was a fart, but you sharted.
I've been there.
And so I was just like, whoa, oh, and I ran into the bathroom off my rec room, and literally took off the underwear, threw it in the shower in there, and had a quick shower then as well, because I was like, for fuck's sake. I'm not a proud man, so it's it happens. I don't have a I haven't had a gallbladder since 2005. I had my gallbladder removed just before shooting Clerks 2. So anything dairy like, as long as I'm home, I can have some ice cream. I'm home. It's all good. But for some reason, something probably went wrong. And it caught me by surprise, obviously. But before that, it had been years and years.
Thank you for being honest and telling people that it happens sometimes. Well, it just happens, guys.
I don't look at you with as much disdain now, Jacob.
Thank you. But this question has joined our rotation because there was one, we'll call it the brown period of my life, where I shit my pants 3 Tuesdays in a row with no explanation.
Well, wait.
See, there is an explanation. It's not normal, is it?
There's 2 words. Just from that bare minimum information, even an AI fucking script generator would figure this out. You were doing Taco Tuesdays.
Believe it or not, it happened 3 Tuesdays in a row, but it happened once at work at my day job as I was coming in, and I had to go throw my underwear in the dumpster. 5 minutes before I got on stage to host an open mic.
Oh, wow.
So 5 minutes before I'm on stage, I poop my pants standing at the bar talking to my friends. I say, I just shit my pants. Walk to the bathroom, deal with it, go on stage, and then riff on shitting my pants for 10 minutes. And the third time I was just at home hanging out. Oh, no, I shit the bed. I shit the bed in bed with my fiance. Yeah.
You mean to say your ex-fiance?
I wish. If that's not getting rid of her, nothing will.
Wow, she stuck around for you after you shitting the bed?
Not only did she stick around, she helped me dig the shit out of the egg crate.
Oh my God.
Dude, I did not know this. This is
dig it out? You just didn't throw the whole fucking egg crate thing out?
We scooped it out like with a spoon, the part that had shit.
We just lost every listener we've ever had. Why would you say that?
This is why Jason doesn't let me ask questions.
Wow. Just one thing I definitely have made a total decision of myself is never shaking your hand ever.
You probably shouldn't, dude. We should definitely just elbow bump.
No,
if I've ever find myself where you're introducing me on an open mic, I will ask for a new fucking microphone.
And they ask in the chat room, egg crate ? Yeah, the egg crate that what is that cushion thing you put on your
the memory foam toppers.
Foam stuff.
In the beginning, they weren't memory foam; they literally just foam in that kind of egg cratey kind of fingers. That was the first rendition of those.
Welcome to Vomit Monday.
Well, if you guys decide to be regular listeners of the Open Micers podcast, this is the fine content we bring to you people.
I'm sorry, Brian. I did not. I hate it.
If it
Every
makes you feel
single
any better,
week he brings it up. I hate it.
Look, if it makes you feel any better, we asked Jonathan Mangum the same question, and he gave us an excellent story and then countered with a story about him pissing his pants.
Wow. So you tell us the story about shitting the bed, and now with this interview, you've shit the bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian, I hate that's where we got to end it at.
No, sometimes shit happens.
So what is going on in BrianCOhalloran world? What projects do you have coming up soon?
There's a couple of conventions. If you go to my any of my Instagram or any of my social media sites, you'll be able to find me. You can go to I'll just put it across my face here. There we go. You can go to those addresses, BrianCOhalloran at Twitter or at BrianCOhalloran on Instagram and the BrianCOhalloran on Facebook. There is a link to my Linktree, so just go to these addresses here and you'll be able to follow what's going on. I'm sure these guys will add these addresses to the info below in the comments and whatnot. But that's the best way to find out what's going on with me. I'm going to be I'll be in Sacramento, California in June. I'll also be in a couple of other cities, Minneapolis, Minnesota in November. I'll also be in a few other cities. So check that out. I will be doing some stand-up at an event in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Check out the information on my Linktree for more of that. It'll be at the Asbury Park Beer Garden, so it's perfect drinks and some jokes. I'll be emceeing an event there with my good friend Chris Covert from Covert Comedy, and then after that, a few more gigs. So that's the best way to keep up to what's going on.
Awesome. What about you, Jacob? You got a gig coming up this week?
That gig has already passed, Jason Robbins, and you would know that if you kept up with dates.
Well, I'm so bad with dates. I'm sorry.
But what I will say is that just thank you so much to Brian. Man, you were the first big guest we've ever had on this podcast. You were a genuine comedy icon. You're a genuinely good person. I've loved every interaction I've ever had with you. And still to this day, you're the reason that we get a lot of really cool people on this podcast because I shamelessly mention you in the emails. Hey, we've had on BrianCOhalloran on our podcast. And then they're more than happy to do it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. We really appreciate it.
Jay, Jacob, anytime, you know that. Hopefully we get to see each other in person real soon. I'll be down in Shreveport, actually, is another one of my gigs. So if you want to come up to Shreveport, by all means.
It's not that far away.
Yeah.
Yes. GeekCon, I believe it is, up in Shreveport. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I want to tell everybody this Saturday is Red Radio After Dark. At the Tracks in Long Beach. Go to Red Radio After Dark on Facebook, and that will click the eventbrite.com to get your tickets. It is it's an old school kind of variety show. It's got comedy, music, and burlesque. So go check it out, Red Radio After Dark. And Brian, again, thank you for coming on the show again. I promise it won't be another 3 years before we have you on again. And I promise I wasn't avoiding you at Pensacon. It just didn't work out that I could see you. And Clerks 3 is the culmination of your acting career, and it was one of the best performances I've ever seen you give in your entire career. And if there was a God, he would personally hand you an Oscar, or she would personally hand you the Oscar for that performance.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
But we're going to go ahead and get out of here. If you would like to email us at OpenMicersPodcast@gmail.com. We're at OpenMicers.com, or you can go to our Linktree, Linktree/OpenMicersPodcast, and that takes you to everywhere you need to go. And you can join our Patreon. Keep us going. Patreon.com/OMPodcast. And thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
I'm not even supposed to be here this episode.
And that was a great episode. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, for hanging out with us. I know we had some weird glitches at the beginning. It wouldn't go to the it wouldn't stream to the stream I had set up. It went to a new one, so I know we lost a couple of listeners trying to get the stream going. But thank you guys. It will be available again on the public feed on Wednesday. So we will see you guys next week. And thank you for stopping by. We're here every single week. We're going to be here at 7:30 Central every Monday